Qantas non-stop research flight from London to Sydney. Here I come. And we will see double sunrise today.
We will see double sunrise today. High five.
1919, 100 years ago, it used to take 28 days from UK to Australia. Beautiful. This is the magic moment of the day.
Trying to stretch to the locker.
Oh, sitting can be exercised as well.
Absolutely.
Can you show me the sitting exercise? You could even take up more passenger. Everything on this flight is actually special. I think I'm going to lose some weight after landing. We need to adjust our body clock to Sydney's time. So this is supper right now.
I'd like to share with you something very close to my heart.
The A350 or the 777X? What is your favorite aircraft, Alan? These are the typical Australian outback landscape. This is such a history-making flight.
Welcome aboard our non-stop flight through to Sydney today. We'll be boarding from gate number 1 just after 5 AM, and that one's there for yourself today. So when you're ready, you can head through security.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Enjoy.
Project Sunrise, here we come.
Welcome all our special invited guests on this morning's non-stop flight from London Heathrow to Sydney, Australia.
Sydney!
Thank you very much, guys. Good luck. Thank you. Bye now.
Good on you. Thanks. See you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning. Overcoming the final frontier of aviation, Qantas non-stop research flight from London to Sydney. Here I come.
See you, Sam.
See you, bye. Take care. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. We're making history today. Non-stop to Australia. Let's go.
Double sunrise, bring it on.
Departing London today, 19 hours and 17 minutes. Darkness when we depart, bright sunshine in Sydney when we land.
And we will see double sunrise today.
We will see double sunrise today.
Fantastic. History making. High five, Captain.
High five.
Now it's 5:40 AM. I'm sitting in seat 8A. And look at the pillow here. It says Qantas Research Flight.
Thanks very much, London. We'll see you when we come back next time. Thank you.
Cabin crew, the final door has now closed.
Let's go.
If your seat is fitted with a sash belt, ensure it's separate from the pouch by pulling the tab.
Mind if I just pull this over for you?
Oh yes, I forgot.
It's
Shoulder
extra,
strap.
Yeah, it's a safety precaution. So like a car seat.
Oh, like a car seat, yes. Thank you very much.
There we go. And it'll
Very
stop
nice.
you from...
All secured.
Not that you're going to need it at all.
Thank you. So the time now is 6 AM. So we pushed back a few minutes early. We're heading towards the end of runway 27 left for departure. And as you can see, it's still pitch dark and slightly with rain. Here we have just the takeoff, 19 hours 17 minutes to Australia non-stop. In 1919, 100 years ago, it used to take 28 days from UK to Australia. So today is 19 hours we'll get there. And today's flights will be overflying the following countries from England to Netherlands, Germany, Poland, Belarus, Russia, Kazakhstan, China, Philippines, Indonesia, and on to Australia.
Hi there, sir.
Hello there.
I've just got the menu for you, and there's also a little bit of information in here about the flight as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Historic event, there you go.
Thank you.
So Sam, on this flight, we've locked the windows closed in the forward two sections where our customers are sitting because we have a trial on this flight for the Charles Perkins method of getting everyone onto the time zone in Sydney. So if you'd like to look out the window at the first sunrise, you'll be able to do that from the cabins further back.
This is the captain. My name is HELEN TRENERRY. Also on the flight deck, First Officer Ryan Gill, Second Officer Chris Agnew, and Second Officer Tegan Gray. So in honour of your place in this epic adventure, we acknowledge the personnel who took part in the top secret double sunrise flights that Qantas conducted during World War II. These flights were under constant threat of attack from the Japanese and would fly for up to 32 hours non-stop. the crew and their passengers would see 2 sunrises on their flights, giving them the title of the double sunrise flights. Today, as we've departed London in the wee small hours of darkness, the first of our 2 sunrises is just about to occur on the horizon to our east now.
Beautiful. This is the magic moment of the day. The first sunrise we saw on this flight just about 40 minutes after takeoff, and as we're flying towards the east. Most passengers are in the front cabin on this flight. They will acclimatize to Sydney time zone, which is actually now in the evening at 5:45 local time. All changed into a very comfy, very recognizable pajama, the big flying kangaroo. But this is not just the normal Qantas pajama, something special. Let me show you why. It's a Qantas Research Special Pajama. Yeah, let's do a refill. I was drinking lots of water on this flight, yes.
Stay hydrated.
This is great. Every airline should do this. This is a great idea, saving the planet. If you are a traveler, bring your water bottle instead of using that plastic bottle.
We're going to do a bit of exercise, very simple things. So it's really going to give you a bit of a boost in terms of oxygen in the body, and it's going as well to help all of the blood flow to come back. So the first one is going to do just natural walking. So just natural walking. To the locker, and you can be on your toes, so you are here on your toe time, just gentle, okay, it's not a competition. 5 times, 5 seconds. Now what we're going to do is stretching the ischial muscle here and the calves, which are the other ones that are compressed when we are sitting for a long time. Okay, so you can do it with one leg. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9.
How do you feel after exercising?
Oh, invigorated. I don't know if I can do it twice though.
Were you able squatting all the way to Sydney? 18 hours.
So what we recommend at the moment is two different types of exercise. One is the seated exercise, so there's a number of movements people can still do while sitting in the seat.
Oh, sitting can be exercise as well.
Absolutely, we can just imagine some exercise. And
can you show me the sitting exercise?
Yeah.
So you're raising your heels?
Yeah, and contracting the calf muscles.
Yep.
This one, there's the other one, where you raise toes.
Raising toes from the front.
And you can do upper body exercise as well. So you can do this squeezing, for example. Squeezing. You can do stretching. You can do one side. You can do the other side.
You can turn as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can lift yourself.
Lift yourself. Oh yes.
You know, so there's a lot of things, and I get, you know, once people feel empowered to do it, they will find the exercise they like. You know?
What we're wearing today is an ActiWatch on our non-dominant hands, and this is a 24-hour monitor, and we'll be wearing those for about 21 days. And it's got a little light meter in it as well, but it's also looking at every movement we make. It gets downloaded to computers, and then they'll be able to assess our times of rest and our times of movement. Here is also another light meter because they need to assess the light that goes into our eyes. So we need to wear this somewhere between our eyes and our chest, and it's doing a continuous monitoring of the light going into our eyes because that affects the melatonin levels that we produce.
Now, Helen, can you tell me how much fuel uplifted from London to do this non-stop to Sydney?
Sam, the flight plan, we needed 100 tonnes of fuel today. The takeoff weight for the aeroplane is nearly 235 tonnes, so that's 235,000 kilograms. When we get to Sydney, we'll be landing at about 137,000 kilograms. So we'll burn a fair bit of the fuel on the way, but we're running a very fuel-efficient flight today, and we've got a lot of computers and performance engineers monitoring our fuel flow.
you could even take up more passenger.
We could have taken more today, yeah. We had about 20,000 kilos below our maximum takeoff weight. So we had a bit more room for a few bodies, but we couldn't get anybody in the terminal to hop on.
All right, I guess it's too late now for everyone to hop on. We already took off. Well, thank you very much, Helen.
You're welcome, Sam.
As you can see, the entire economy class behind me is empty, and also the premium economy is also empty. All the guests and passengers are sitting in the front of the plane. Now, that creates a lot of room for people to walk down here to do exercise, stretching when they needed to. And also, Qantas is telling me if the Project Sunrise will be launched and the new airplane will get chosen, the economy class will be a far roomier experience on the extra long-haul flights like this. Everything on this flight is actually special and research. Even the food were specially customized, made for this flight to promote a better well-being.
So here we've got the roasted chicken broth with shiitake mushrooms, enoki, sugar snaps and peas. This is a high-protein meal with the high GI carbohydrate that's in the macaroni, and that's going to help to put everybody to sleep. Comfort food, encouraging the production of serotonin and melatonin.
Very healthy flight. There's no Coke, no Sprite, no soft drinks.
No caffeine.
Only the coconut water, or this one called kombucha, and no spirits on board as well. So it's entirely a very healthy flight. I think I'm going to lose some weight after landing.
There we go.
Oh, nice white bread.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Special GI bread which aids in sleep.
How's that for a nice, healthy looking soup?
Wow, a soup for breakfast. That's great. Supper. This is a supper now. You're right.
Sydney is supper time.
We need to adjust our body clock to Sydney's time. So this is supper right now.
Okay, so this is the main course of the steak sandwich with slow roasted tomatoes, and this is to help support the sleep cycle for our passengers.
Steak sandwich, sir.
Thank you very much.
There we go. And one for you as well, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
So this is the vanilla rose cream with strawberries, pistachio, and strawberry jelly. And this is a milk-based dessert. So something that people traditionally give their kids when they put them off to sleep is a warm bottle of milk, and this is our version of a warm bottle of milk. It's not warm, but it's lovely, delicious, lightly sweetened.
So it's best to have
this is the
seat.
mattress.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice, very soft, very
soft
plush.
and a bit thick.
Yeah,
So it's best to have the seat upright before you put them on.
it's a cover. So it's a mattress
right
and a
over.
cover on the seat. Okay.
And if you need to put your sash belt on, it's got the
oh, I see.
special spot there for it to come through, but you don't need that on during flight. So it means you can have this on for takeoff and landing as well, which is good for customers who want to go to sleep. Put out.
Yeah, thank you.
Now you're set for bed. Night, sleeping time. Time for us to turn the lights out.
I just woke up. We're now halfway between London and Sydney. About 9.5 hours to go. Just coming to the galley, doing some exercise, stretching.
So on a traditional flight, we'd have a large selection of snacks and items to choose from. Total weight of 1.5 tons for business class with food and equipment. But on this flight today, because of the length and nature of the flight, we're limited to 900 kilos.
Watches which look like an 84 Casio, however they're actually quite technological and they're quite advanced. So they measure the amount of light that's coming into them. We also have alertness testing. So during the flight, at several different intervals, we check how alert we are by using an exercise on the iPad to test how quickly we respond to a set of data. Outside of that, we also keep a sleep diary which shows how well we sleep.
6 hours to land in Sydney. Now the cabin light has been turned on again. It is breakfast time in Sydney, and we're just been served piccolo latte to wake up and stimulate the palate for the breakfast. I had a pretty good sleep, 6 hours sleep, and then I did some exercise. Enjoyed a movie, Aboriginal movie called Jeddah. It was 1955 movie, and then I did some work and writing up the blog and about this flight. And so all the details will be shared with you in the upcoming video and on my blog. So there are actually quite a few passengers on this flight doing the reaction test and under research. And here I met David.
It's a reaction time-ish thing. As soon as the numbers start timing down, you've got to push the button. And at the end, it gives you a total score of how well you did.
Oh, so it's testing your reaction. As soon as number hit the screen, you tap.
Yep.
and it's a it goes for 10 minutes and it changes duration, so it gets very frustrating after the 10 minutes.
Sometimes fast, sometimes slow.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, David, you're pretty good at this.
Oh yeah, I'm getting very good. Practice makes perfect.
So this is the healthy breakfast bowl, and it's full of roasted cauliflower with a spicy harissa dressing, a poached egg and some watercress. And the idea of this is to go along with the wake-up cycle, and that's what we've used this spicy harissa dressing for.
Mr. Jones, a breakfast for you.
Good morning.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, it's okay.
You're in demand, Mr.
I can eat all this.
Now that magic moment is going to start again. Shortly, we're going to see the double sunrise, the second sunrise on this flight. We're over at airborne, Indonesia at 41,000 feet at the moment. About 5 hours to Sydney from now on.
At this point now, at the left side of the aircraft, you'll see your second sunrise. And now we are all members of the rare and special secret order of the double sunrise and trailblazers for Project Sunrise. A century ago, the Australian government challenged the world's leading aviators to fly from Great Britain to Australia in less than 30 days. Brothers Captain Ross Smith and Lieutenant Keith Smith and their mechanics, Sergeants Wally Shears and Jim Bennett, took off in their modified Vickers Vimy bomber from snow-covered Hounslow Aerodrome in West London on the morning of November 12, 1919. Some 135 hours of actual flying time later, on the 10th of December, the four touched down at Fanny Bay in the Northern Territory of Australia near Darwin and shared a prize of £10,000. Their flight is considered one of the world's great pioneering aviation feats, and today we replicate that challenge in a flying machine they could never have imagined, in just on 19 hours of flying time.
Hey Sam, my name's Chris Agnew, one of the second officers on board QF7879 from London to Sydney, and I'd like to share with you something very close to my heart. It's a picture of my grandfather that used to fly during the Second World War as an air sea rescue pilot up in Papua New Guinea. I carry it with me in my jacket pocket because I know how proud of me he was as a pilot, and unfortunately he only passed away a couple of months ago, so he just missed out on hearing about the news that I was conducting this flight.
Well, Chris, that was so inspiring. Well, I'm sure your grandfather is very, very proud of you.
Thanks.
So Chris, what's this thing you're holding with you?
So this here is a brainwave monitor. We are required to wear it at all times we're on the flight deck. So it actually just sits on our forehead. It's just behind our ears on both sides. It's designed so that our headset can sit on our ears comfortably and the microphone boom in front of our mouth without any hindrance. It measures our brainwave activities.
Alan, I want to ask you, which aircraft you think is more likely, the A350 or the 777X?
So it's going to be pretty close. We've got both aircraft still in competition. We're talking to both manufacturers. Both have pros and cons. So this will come down to the line. It's going to be to the very last minute before we'll make a call.
Okay, when do you think you will make that call?
So our intent is by the end of this calendar year, which is only a few weeks away, that we will be making a decision on whether we do sunrise or not.
Oh, so there's a chance sunrise may not even happen?
There is. I mean, we've still got a few hurdles to overcome. The reason why we're doing these test flights is to get our regulator to allow us and to make sure we're comfortable with having a tour of duty that can do a 21-hour flight, which you can't do today. We're also talking to our unions about changing the employment contract to allow them to do it. And we're also looking at what the product looks like in the final economic case. And then it has to pass the economic hurdles that we've set for it. And if it does pass that, then you'll probably see sunrise happening by 2023.
The last question, as a nav geek, we always want to know, what is your favorite aircraft, Alan?
Well, my favorite aircraft is the Boeing 747. And that's because, you agree with me?
Yeah, I agree. My favorite plane is the 747. Please tell me more.
And so, because Qantas has a big history, as you're probably aware, next year we'll have flown every series of the aircraft for 49 years. The 747-100, 200, the 300s, the SPs, the 400s, the 400ERs, and the Dash 8s as a freighter. So that's a piece of history. But unfortunately, we are retiring them next year, so it's going to be a very bittersweet moment because we're replacing them with super efficient aircraft like this, but they are still, in some ways, I think, the queen of the sky.
I want to share with you some personal story. When I was 13-year-old, I went on a Qantas flight from Sydney to Melbourne. Qantas 9 747-400, the first leg before you onward to Singapore and London. And I was a kid at the back, and the flight attendant saw me. Within a few minutes, they called me and they took me upstairs to the cockpit. And I had the fortune to sit behind the pilot to observe my very first jump seat takeoff in the cockpit. Something not to tell the regulator is my hand was underneath the captain's hand, and we were pushing the throttle on the 747-400 on the engine during the takeoff. So it was remarkable. I think this airplane shapes the love of aviation for many people, including myself.
That's a great story.
Guys, I have Richard Quest here on this history-making Qantas 787 non-stop flight. How's the flight so far?
I'm impressed at how well I'm feeling. I think partly it's because there's the excitement of people like yourself on board. Everybody's walking around, everybody's gossiping, everybody's chit-chatting about aviation. But also there aren't 200 people at the back. So there isn't the same humanity. There isn't the same movement around, carts going up and down, although there are in some cases. There isn't just that same feeling of pressure and crowdedness. I'm feeling pretty good. We are now, by the way, we have just crossed Northern Australia, the top.
Oh, we're already in Australia?
Yeah, we're over there now. We haven't actually crossed the main, but this looks like it's actually connected, but there's the Australian coast down there.
Wow, excellent. Thank you so much, Richard.
Sure.
Right at 3 minutes, we are passing a main long reach out to the left-hand side of the aircraft. It's approximately 131 nautical miles away. That's 150 statute miles. The town is in the middle of central Queensland. Out there, if you have a good look, it's in the distance. It'll be very hard to see. It's quite a small town. This particular aircraft has been named Long Ridge in a nod to this Queensland town that was integral to our beginnings. Just for information now, we're at less than 2 hours to run. It looks like our touchdown time of 12:28 p.m. into Sydney, and we are currently 1,800 kilos of fuel ahead of where we should be. So that's a saving of 1,800 kilos due to all the fuel optimisation techniques we've been utilising on the aircraft. Hope you've had a great night with us. We'll be getting busy shortly as we plan and commence our descent into Sydney. It's going to be a spectacular arrival. It's a gorgeous day there. Sunny conditions. We've turned it on for you. It'll be very pleasant. So
hello, Sam. Welcome to the club of Double Sunrise. Very small elite club you've now joined.
Thank you very much. Look at this.
So this is the original replica of the certificate they used in your shoe back when the flying boat services started.
Oh, the original. This is the replicating. Oh, wow.
And on the other side, you've got the new model.
The new one.
Contemporary certificate.
Well, we are just about an hour and a little bit more until we arrive in Sydney. I think you can recognize these are the typical Australian outback landscape. The meal I had at lunch was phenomenal. It was a great dish. The pasta with the beef ragu.
Our track today, inbound towards Sydney from the west. We're going to do a right turn just before we reach Sydney City itself. Track down towards the south before a series of left turns, and then landing on runway 34 left towards the north. Touchdown time at this stage looks like 12:28. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you for accompanying us today on such a special trip. It's been an epic adventure for all of us. We look forward to catching up with you on the ground and enjoying all the revelry that goes with such a flight. Thank you and good afternoon.
Qantas 7879, the threshold wind is 32, 0 degrees 10 knots. That's runway 34 left, clear to land.
Qantas 7879, congratulations on that flight.
What a great arrival into Sydney. This is such a history-making flight. In fact, I think this research flight will shape up the future of aviation. I'm extremely privileged to be on this flight, and I'm actually feeling great, even flying after 19 hours. With the arrival, that's not the end yet. This is just the start of beginning of Qantas Centenary celebration. Stay tuned for more.
Everyone waiting for you. Have you got some tissues?
Oh, this is very emotional. Like, this is amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Centenary airplane. What a great livery. I just got out of the airplane and realized what a great livery this airplane has.